Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Brittany.
I'm Steven.
And we are the BS Review, and today we are here to review a Netflix movie for you guys. And today we're talking about To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which is a rom-com.
And it's been going around lately. A lot of people have been talking about it, so we're a little late on it, but we watched it and we wanted to talk about it. If you haven't heard of this movie, it is a rom-com centering on high school age kids, and we follow a girl named Lara Jean who, what she does is every boy she has had a major crush on, she wrote a letter to. And the plot of this movie is those letters get out. And so all the boys start flooding it, being like, you wrote me a letter telling me you loved me. And her having to deal with those consequences and potentially fall in love.
This is going to be a spoiler-free review, but if you've watched any of our other reviews, you know we like to talk about key points of the plot, just not with plot details. I would say the plot of this movie, I really enjoyed it. I think it moved along smoothly. I don't think it had any major slow points that weren't, needed or intentional or anything like that, but I will say it's not a super original plot, especially for a rom-com, especially if you've read a lot of books, seen a lot of teenage movies, whatever. It's nothing, super groundbreaking, but that honestly doesn't take away from how great this film is.
Yeah, I think that it was a pretty typical plot, besides their small twists, but I think where it wins out is its authenticity with the plot. It feels very real, and these characters, which we'll talk about in a little bit, do feel like actual people, and I think we've had a string of good, teen rom-coms lately that are just very authentic in how they present teenagers and feelings while still maintaining the comedy and the romance elements that you see in a typical one. So our main character is Lara Jean. She's played by Lana Condor. I don't know what else she's been in. Has she been in anything?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either, but she was really good in this. Her character is a funny mix of, I have no idea what's going on while simultaneously, being a control freak.
She's a very unique character. I think that they get, again, her authenticity very spot on. I think that she's a very endearing character without being this typical awkward, quirky type. She has elements of that, but that doesn't encompass her entire character.
Yeah, it didn't feel like they were making her, the quirky sex object that happens a lot with a lot of, female protagonists, or in rom-coms especially, the female's just so quirky and different, and I felt like she was a good level of no, she was different, but she also had reasons, and she still fit in certain areas. She wasn't completely socially inept, which was nice.
And we have one of our major boy players, which is Peter, played by Noah Centineo. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but hello, welcome to your new teen heartthrob. He's great. I think he has so much charisma. Him and Lana have incredible on-screen chemistry. I think that he played the part of the kind of dumb jock who has good intentions very well. And his mannerisms on screen are just you just want to reach out and hug him. He is a delicious cupcake of a human.
I definitely think he sells the chemistry between him and Lara Jean. And yeah, he's fun to watch on screen, and he also hits my funny bone. He's pretty funny. He has a good wit. Yeah, so.
Fun fact, a lot of things in this movie were, ad-libbed or improvised, that's the word. And quite a few of them were spawned by him. As we're watching the movie, I always like to read through the non-spoilery trivia, and I'm reading through it. I was like, oh, that really cute scene, he improvised. Oh, this little cute part, he also improvised. I think he's going to do good things.
So another boy player in this film is Josh, played by Israel Broussard, and I feel like he does a good job. I mean, his character in general isn't always the most likable in this film, and I think he does a good job of playing a teenage boy, because...
Yeah.
Because he's simultaneously sometimes you like him, but sometimes he's kind of a scumbag. And
I think my biggest problem with him as a character writing-wise, and I think was a little different from the book, there were no main plot points that were different, but I think that he came across as excusable in the movie quite a bit, and I don't think that's quite how it was in the book. He wasn't necessarily straight up called out, but it was done in a way where you're clearly this is not an okay response to X, Y, and Z situation. But in the movie, he would have not great responses, and then it would just go.
The movie did give him a pass.
Which I don't agree with, so do with that what you will. characters, the absolute selling point of this movie and why it holds my heart is the Covey family, which is Laura Jean's family. I stan all of the loving family systems that we are getting in teenage rom-coms or just teenage movies in general. Like, we got Love, Simon, we got this. Like, give me all the loving families that are not horrible humans, please. They're great. Kitty, her little sister, stole the freaking movie. I think her dad played it perfectly. I think all of them were cast extremely well. Margot, her older sister, who is played by Janelle Parrish, which you may have recognized from Pretty Little Liars. Oh. My only problem with her is, like, she's way too old for that part, but that's okay.
That's true. She's supposed to be, like, going off to college. Like she's supposed to be 18, and I'm like, she looks like she could have, like, she looks like she could be her mom.
Yeah, so... That's my only complaint with her casting.
But I do think it's fun to see these healthy, non-traditional families operate, because I feel like a lot of times these types of teeny bopper drama movies rely so much on, like, the family drama elements, and it's been nice that these have not, and, like, this movie in particular does not depend on that, and in fact it's the opposite. The family time's, like, grounding to the other chaos going on.
My only small complaint about how the family is portrayed on screen versus in the book is I felt like in the book they concentrate a lot more on their Korean heritage. The girls are half Korean, their mom was Korean, their dad is white, and this is not a spoiler because it's like,
yeah,
not. Their mom passed away, years ago, and so he's trying to maintain a healthy family dynamic while also holding on to pieces of their culture. And they had little tidbits here and there, but it wasn't really much of a focus at all. I think if you blinked, you missed them. And I wish that had been a little more integral because I think it was a really special part of the book and it really gave you such a look into their family and how they operate and the love that they have for each other. So that's my only minor complaint on that.
Which, I didn't read the book before watching this movie. I don't know if we had mentioned that, but she did. What else was different?
I think that for the most part it was pretty spot on. I think that they made one of the boy characters more likable on screen than he was in the book, which I enjoyed. The book community kind of is like, oh, such and such in the book I hated, and then such and such in the movie was great. And I don't quite have that love-hate, but I didn't 100% ship them in the book until certain key moments, and then in the movie I'm like, I ship you from moment one, yes.
It wasn't love-hate, it was more like...
apprehension?
Like dislike?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, besides that, and that may be something that develops over time, this is a book trilogy, fun fact, and we are getting a second movie. I think that has been confirmed.
I do think that this film, while not doing anything too crazy, did have some nice shots, and the cinematography was pretty throughout. It was enjoyable to watch. I think sometimes these movies can feel a little low budget because they take place in three sets with the same characters interacting. But this one didn't. It didn't feel cheap like that at all, and it was enjoyable to watch, and there's quite a few scenes that you're like, wow, that's a really pretty shot.
Yeah, I think that it's very subtle in its pretty cinematography. There's no sweeping shots where you're like, wow, whoever did this camera work is great. But, the way they line up shots and stuff is, every once in a while you'd be like, wow, that's a really aesthetically pleasing shot. Great. So I just wanted to mention it a little bit. And also this does have a nice John Hughes-esque feel to it, which is intentional, as that is some favorite movies of the main character, Laura Jean, and she does mention that in the movie. And I think that having those little touches of John Hughes films brought some extra whimsy to this movie. Overall, we both really enjoyed watching this film. It's a great date night watch, which is what we did. I definitely recommend this for people who enjoy rom-coms or cute teenage romances. I think you'll really enjoy this. I think that if you're a book reader, you should definitely check out the book if you also like those types of things. It is a nice, fun, fluffy, delightful read and watch. So if you're in the mood for something like that, definitely recommend checking it out. As always, we want to know what you guys thought about this movie, so if you've seen it or if you're anticipating seeing this movie, let us know what you guys thought in the comments below, and make sure you hit that like button. It lets us know that you like this video, are supporting it, and want to see more like it. We do pay attention to that stuff. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of different videos coming your way, including a big 31 days of Halloween, where we're going to be doing a bunch of different Halloween videos, including reviewing every Halloween movie ever. From the Halloween series. From the Halloween series, yeah. Every Halloween movie. Yeah, from this series,
but it's going to be a ton of fun, so make sure you don't miss it. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, get the notifications. And if you want to see some more of the content we already have on the channel, you guys can click right over there, and we'll see you next time.